that information, advice, or guidance that you take from this video, along with analysis and predictions of the market, is not expert advice. Thus, you use and apply it at your own risk. We are not financial experts who deem themselves authorized financial advisors. We are only sharing content based on what we know and understand of the financial markets. Should you take this information and use it, and therefore find yourself in a position whereby you lose money when trading, we are not at fault. You are not to use this information as a final conclusion of what I should buy or sell whatever instrument we are analyzing based on this video, but as trading insights, ideas that give clues of what the market is expected to do. We also expect you to do your own due diligence of analyzing the market fully and take profitable trading decisions before you invest your hard-earned money into the market. What's up, guys? We are back yet with another accurate, amazing market analysis video, right? So what I'm going to be doing this week is basically what we normally do every single week, which is basically analyzing the market. Last week was one hell of a very crazy week in the markets, and I'm sure if you carefully analyzed the market and also focused on some of the things that which I said on last week's analysis, you definitely have surely made profit for yourself. I'm not saying everything was entirely accurate, and you will get to find out more about that as we go through this analysis today. So one thing that I really want you to note is that we have yet another amazing week where we are going to be dealing with amazing fundamental analysis, and definitely we are in for another roller coaster in the markets, and we should definitely expect the market to move amazingly. So what I would want us to do is to definitely do our level best and invest ourselves in the markets, where we try our hardest level best to make sure that we understand what the market is doing, what the market is to do, that we may be able to find proper market opportunities and be able to trade. And of course, this is me, Sianda, from South Africa, and I'm a trader, and I will of course be trading with you this week, and that is what I'm here for, to share with you analysis for this week of what the market is expected to do. And of course, guys, don't forget, if you find this very helpful, don't forget to like, to comment if you have any questions or any form of opinion, and definitely subscribe, because that will help us grow. Let's make sure that we reach other people who also are in need of the market analysis that we have, that we are sharing right here on this video and on this channel. So far, of course, we are in a very low level in terms of subscribers, but that's not our goal and that's not our vision, and I'm sure we are not going to end there. Day by day, I'm sure we are going to grow and we are going to expand, and I'm here to grow with you. So let's dive right into it with no further ado, guys. First and foremost, of course, we are starting with fundamental analysis right now. Of course, this week is not a week full of many news in terms of what's going to be happening, but it has impactful news for, again, one day. Last week's NFP came exactly as much more I would have expected. I did mention on the previous video that if you want to know how NFP is going to move, of course, you need to check, of course, the jobless claims first. And if you basically did do that and follow everything that which I said last week, you will definitely get to understand what the market actually was to do in terms of what happened on Friday during NFP. Right, but today or this week we are looking much more at Thursday. Thursday is our key week in terms of what we are going to be focusing on in terms of our trading. We are looking at core CPI, which basically will be telling us about the inflation rates and how the United States is basically doing in terms of inflation. So For this particular reason, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on CPI, and of course, when it comes to this, right, I'm not going to really share analysis of how to analyze the CPI because it's conditional depending on what you are trading, but based on what we are trading, right, and how to figure out where the market is going to be going in terms of direction. Of course, we are looking at the previous results versus the forecast, and of course we look at that and then we observe, right, how the market moved in the past based on that particular instrument that we're trading. For example, if we're talking about gold, if CPI performed 0.3 last month or in the past 5 months, we also check the history of how it was doing and whether it was positive or negative, and when it's negative, how do the markets react based on what we are trading, and when they are positive, how does the market also react in terms of what we are trading at once, right? So now when it comes to things such as these, it is crucial to note where the market comes from, where the market is, and then definitely have the ability to detect where the market may go, right? So of course, possibly maybe on our midweek analysis where we are doing a weekly review which confirms this week's analysis, which is the one that we're doing right now, we will definitely be able to confirm and clarify and see how we can be able to detect what the market is doing in terms of core CPI. But as for this week, we don't have much going on except for core CPI, and of course we also have the initial jobless claims over there. They are going to be released at the very same time as core CPI, right? As far as I can see over there, they're expected to be negative, or they're expected to be lesser, rather, which is positive, right? Now, in most cases, if initial jobless claims are positive, along with all of these inflation indicators, majority of the time, we should definitely be expecting that the market is definitely going to be positive, right? I can confidently say I expect a positive outlook of what the market is going to do. So what we're going to do is definitely we are going to be checking, especially during the week in our midweek analysis, we are going to be checking how is the market, or how has the market reacted in the past versus the current time, and then we'll be able to know what we should be expecting on Thursday. Now, we do our midweek analysis every Wednesday. I'm sharing that every Wednesday in the evening, right, at 6 p.m. For now, in terms of fundamental analysis, this is what we are expecting. Coming on to technical analysis, starting off, of course, with US30. Of course, as you know, we start with US30, starting from the weekly chart. As you know already, just to simplify things, and of course to save time, right, we start with US30 basically on the weekly chart, and of course I've already drawn my trend lines over there. Remember, trend lines are the simplest way to find market direction, guys. And of course there are many other ways. Always remember there are many ways to trade, and no one is what we can deem better than the other. The main thing in the market, Wafetu, is profit, right? So our goal is definitely profit. We are not worried about how spectacular your strategy is or how good it looks on the chart. It's all about you being able to make money. Even if you are trading support and resistance, as long as you understand what you're doing and your strategy works and it makes you money, you are doing great. Now, of course, as we have established over the past few weeks, our expectation of the market is that the markets are on the rise, right, in terms of US30. Now, of course, when the market is on the rise, you should expect some zigzags, which means it's going to be moving up and down. That's how it moves, but all the more in terms of the overall direction of what the market, of where the market is going, rather, the market is definitely on the rise. So definitely, as we've established, we see over there we have a strong level, which is the level that I've noted over there or annotated as strong support. And then, of course, we're still expecting the market to be moving up to that direction, which is which is marked by that arrow over there. And the market last week, right, the market last week, instead of breaking up or moving straight or shooting straight to the upside, it retested the strong support level. Our anticipation, if we can move to the daily chart, right, our anticipation was that the market, especially because we had a trend line that was a confirmation over there, we expected that US30 was going to go down a little bit, most likely bounce on the trend line or come to the strong support level. Now, it didn't bounce on the trend line, as you can see over there. It came to the strong support level and then it bounced from there and shot straight to the upside. Right now, this week might actually give us a different establishment of direction as compared to last week. Now remember, whenever we are using trading tools, whenever we trade, we don't focus on one tool and then that tool becomes the overall reason why we take certain trading decisions. We use various trading tools which become confluences, and these confluences become our confirmation of where the market is going and what the market is doing. Right, so now as a way forward, I need you to understand that US30 has a strong level here, which has now become support. It was resistance, hence the market rejected on it quite a few times, and then it rejected and went down in most cases, but eventually it broke it. Now, because the market broke it, we are expecting that the market should bounce on it and shoot to the upside, hence the anticipation based on this arrow from this support level to that upper level up there. Of course, the market can go beyond that and the market can still reject from down here and go back down. But this week, we have a few possibilities of what the market can do based on what happened last week, right? Going on to the 4-hour chart, you will realize that this over here, which is the level that I'm about to mark, I'm just going to mark it just for the sake of visibility, just for you to see it, right? This is a strong support level which has been recently broken into, or which has been recently broken through. Now, because that is basically the case, what we expect to happen this week, right? Or before I even get to that, we can see that the market broke this level, went up there, and in fact, as we have a trend line over there, the market retested or rejected on the very same trend line, giving a clear indication of the validity of the trend line right there, right? If I can make it more accurate, so that it gives us proper confirmations. The market rejected on this trend line twice, right? When it was there, it rejected, came back down to the very same support level, went up, rejected at the next level, which was a new level now, and then that level now, which I just marked, now marks itself as a new strong level of resistance, because the market, whenever it gets there, it has now rejected approximately 3 times, or I can say 4 times, even though this one was a retest of this level. But yeah, now this level has established itself as a strong level, right? And the market has rejected for the 3rd time, which the last time happened on Friday. Now, this coming week, we have 2 possibilities. Either the market goes up, as you can see over here, the market went up, rejected over there, and came back down. In most cases, we can anticipate that the market can actually, as it bounced over here on Friday before it closed, right, we can anticipate that the market will go back up and break this level and now start using that level as a support, just like it did with this level over here, right? Or we can definitely anticipate that now, which would be basically confirming the validity of this trend line, which used to be support, which the market broke through and in a way is retesting, right? So in a way it's retesting this resistance level over here, and we can now be looking for sales, especially if the market breaks this support level. So if the market comes down, breaks this support level and retests it, we can be on the lookout for sales, right? But in most cases, as you know, the market is already more on the buying side, right? The market is more on the buying side. So our anticipation definitely is that the market in most cases will continue to offer buys. Even if it is to go down, we shouldn't be expecting that the market will go down for a long time. But even if it does, we know that eventually it will come back, right? So this level over here now marks itself a significant level. Over there, I see I mistakenly deleted my other trend line, but let me use that one just to bring forth that perspective over there. Right now, as we can see that at this point, that level is now a strong level, and the market bounced off of this level and went back up a little bit. Our anticipation, like I said, the market can either break, right, break this level, and of course most likely retest it and continue straight down, or the market will just continue going to the upside, right? If it is going to the upside, then that level, which is this level right here, which is now resistance, will now be retested, and the market will most likely come back down to it after retesting it and then continue going up, right? Which would then give us confirmation that the market is going straight to our level of target. And of course, the market can still go beyond that as we established on the weekly. But for now, I just want you to anticipate that upon market open, US30 will most likely be going up. But it will also depend based on gaps. You know what I mean? There are gaps in the market in terms of where the market will open. You might find that the market opens up here, and if it opens up here, it might sell off from there or break through from there, right? But that's our expectation this week from the market. And of course, if we're looking at sells, then yeah, we have quite a lot of levels to take out in terms of sells, and the sells actually do have more possibilities. The market can go way straight down, and we can be looking for sells for a very long time, right? But of course, such confirmations will happen as the market gives us clarity of what it is doing. But of course, if we're looking to the upside, then we can just expect the market to be moving up and down until it reaches such levels, and maybe close off the week with a sell once again, right? All of which will also be confirmed by fundamental news. Now, coming on to NASDAQ, quite a similar thing that the US30 did, but NASDAQ did it quite a little bit differently. Now, as you can see, our trend lines are already drawn, and this one right here denotes, or it shows a higher trend line or a resistance trend line, and this one's a support trend line, and the market bounced off of this going straight up, and it's been trending to the upside for a very long time. Maybe to some level we definitely can expect a down move, right? But of course, we'll definitely check out the news as well fundamentally to see what the market is doing. Now, based on this trend line, we have come to establish that using the resistance trend line, which is here at the top, this level right now, because it's a resistance trend line and the market broke through it, it is now a support trend line, right? The market is now using it as a support level. As you can see, NASDAQ, as we had predicted or analyzed last week, we anticipated that NASDAQ in most cases would bounce on this trend line, right, in most cases, and bounce straight to the upside and continue rising to the upside. But instead of respecting the support of this trend line, it respected the support of the weekly and the daily trend line, right, which has now become a strong support level as well. And from that time, the market most likely, or not even most likely, it bounced from that level and shot straight to the upside. If I can check on the 1 hour chart, you realize that the market went straight down on Tuesday. On Monday, it consolidated a little bit, went down on Tuesday, and then recovered on the very same Tuesday, and then all through to Friday. Now, on Friday, the market actually rejected up there before it did go up, showing upside potential, but it came back to retest this level over here. I see an order block over there, so it retested that same order block. My anticipation definitely with NASDAQ, or NASDAQ gives clarity all the more of an upside direction, which means the upside direction that we anticipated out of NASDAQ has been confirmed, but much more the market took a different route. Even though we anticipated that last week the market would have bounced off of this trend line and go up, it actually decided to break it and therefore respect the strong support level of the daily and the weekly trend line, which was a trend line resistance that has now turned a support, right? It's now a strong level that the market respects to bounce to the upside. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. So this week, definitely when it comes to NASDAQ, we are totally expecting that NASDAQ will be moving straight to the upside. I also see a strong level over here. Strong level. Let me mark it if by any means I can be able to establish over there. I see quite a few levels over there. Yeah, right. So as you can see, NASDAQ over the past few weeks has been rejecting all around this area right here. I can see it even struggled to break through it, but of course the first time, which was in August, it did go there before it actually declined and then rejected there. Then going up right now, it has rejected once again, but I'm sure more than anything it is gathering momentum in order to be able to go straight to the upside, right? But of course the markets are the markets, and the markets always do what they want to do, and most likely it may happen that the market still moves otherwise and takes a different turn of direction, right? But more than anything, when it comes to NASDAQ this week, I'm definitely expecting NASDAQ to be on the rise, right? I'm just expecting buys upon buys. Anything can happen, but definitely my anticipation is for the market to go straight to the upside, right? In fact, even though if on Friday I was watching this, because I didn't trade NASDAQ on Friday, but as long as I was watching NASDAQ on Friday, I definitely would have bought over here, right? If I can check on smaller time frames, probably there are confirmations over there, but definitely I would have bought, right? That solidifies a few buys over there, right? But definitely, in short, I don't see anything much of a sell this week. I see NASDAQ having come back down to retest these stronger levels in order to establish upside movement, right? So yeah, unlike US30, where the part where US30 rejected is a resistance trend line which confirmed US30 falling, NASDAQ actually used the support level of the weekly and the daily trend line as a support level, and it is from here that it shot to the upside, giving us confirmation of more anticipated upward movements, which means we are on the lookout for buys. Now going to gold, definitely when it comes to gold, we killed it last week. Gold definitely went exactly as we anticipated and as we analyzed. Remember, the analysis was gold is definitely at a point of resistance, which is basically this level over there, right? It was at a level of resistance, right? And it has been rejecting there for quite some time. In fact, we can even mark it as a strong resistance, right? All right, now because the market is at this level of resistance as we analyzed last week and we checked it out, right? This was a strong level that the market had been rejecting on for a very long time, but it kept on coming back to it, which signified unto us that basically we should be expecting or anticipating that the market will break through that level and move to the upside. Now, our analysis simply said last week that in most cases, what gold was going to do is definitely come back down here, because this is a strong level, right? Because it is a strong level, we should, or we did actually expect that gold would reject over there, and then from there shoot straight to the upside once again, or even break lower. Or we also anticipated that if it is to break through this particular level, it will retest it and move straight to the upside. Now, of course, as we actually anticipated, it definitely broke through this strong level, and now, just like I did share a little bit when it comes to US30 and NASDAQ, it definitely uses that level as a position of support. Now, what we anticipate out of that is that the market is most likely what we anticipate out of that is that the market, or what we rather anticipated, was that the market was definitely going to move straight to the upside, and that's what it actually did. So if you were trading gold last week, I'm sure you were much more in the right side of direction if you were looking for buys throughout, because for the whole week it was buying from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even on Friday it was buying. Of course, it did actually go down on in between Wednesday and Thursday, but I'm sure those who are professional traders and they understand what the market is doing know not to actually hold that for long. So gold was definitely just giving buys upon buys, right? And still, as far as I can see, the buys are extra strong when it comes to what may happen this week. But of course, because this is a strong level, the market always comes back to strong levels. So my anticipation definitely this week, or a possibility that can exist, whether as the market opens or during the week, most likely it will come back down to this particular level, which is a strong level because it was never retested. So at some point it will shift from up there, come back down to retest this level, and then still bounce from it and continue to the upside until at whatever day or time that it decides to actually fall back down. So that's my anticipation for this week. If not this, then definitely we just keep on buying, right? It will keep on confirming if it's moving to the upside, and it will definitely keep on maintaining that direction. But for now, of course, we are looking at bullish momentum. But remember, like I did say last week, if not the last time, I did say that all the time, whenever the market has broken a strong level, it will definitely come back to it, right? Just like, actually, as you can see, this level was a strong level and the market rejected on it approximately 4 times. On the 5th time, instead of rejecting it broke it, right? So if it rejected over there approximately 4 times, that establishes that level as a level the market must come back and retest before it continues to the upside, until rather, either way, it changes direction and goes back down. And still, even when that does happen, the market will show us what it is doing, right? So based on that, yeah, that's basically what we can expect of gold so far. I'm anticipating that it will most likely come back to this level, but it doesn't really have to, right? Because it has already established upward bullish momentum. Or let me say, even if it doesn't, it's still okay, because more than anything, it is showing itself to be strong in terms of moving to the upside. But should there be anything, definitely we can anticipate it to retest this strong level over here and then bounce back to the upside. So yeah, more than anything, based on what we shared last week, this is where we stand for now. Definitely we can be looking for sells and buys this week when it comes to gold, and then on the rest, of course, as I've already shared, we will see what we're doing. Of course, on Thursday we are looking at inflation data in terms of CPI, and yeah, we'll be trading and see how the market is moving. Definitely we'll also do a market recap on Wednesday, just a short simple review of seeing whether the market is moving as we analyzed or not, but at the very same time, just simply checking whether things are going as we plan or not, and also share a few insights of how we are going to trade the inflation CPI data coming out on Thursday. But I think so far that is basically all I can say, or that's basically all I can share, and we will do more next week, and of course during the week in terms of the analysis that we have to do. That's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe in order to get more analysis videos to boost your trading and take it to the next level. Until next time.